Greetings, Pilgrims, and welcome to another episode of the Polygon Pilgrimage. And today we're going to begin speaking about our atlas and our modular kit and how that plays into that. So you are probably familiar with what a modular kit is by now. It's very popular. I've talked about it a lot. But basically we have these individual pieces, and by combining them in various ways, we can create entire levels with a very small set of original pieces. However, we're combining this today with the idea of an atlas. So I'm going to show you a couple different things we've got today, but basically an atlas is sort of like a lookup table, and each of the pieces looks up to a specific spot on your texture to pull its resources, and then you can have an entire modular kit all painted from one texture. So let me jump over here to Photoshop, and we're going to take a look at our mask setup. Alright, so our mask setup here, what we have is different colors for every area on the mask. And today we're only going to be speaking about the walls. And you can see this large black area down here would be for our floors. So you can kind of, forecast ahead, but I will talk about the floors on another episode. But for today we're just doing the walls. So these wall sections, we have what I'm calling wall A half, wall A pillar, and then we have two different trims. And so each of these colors corresponds to one of those areas that our modular kit with its UVs, it will look up on this atlas table and say, I'm a wall, so I need to choose from just one of these three areas. And we can mix and match, and you'll see that in a little bit. So let me jump over to Substance Designer, and I'll show you how I use this color mask here to generate our pseudo texture for today's example. Alright, so here we are in Substance Designer, and you can see this is the result of our example for today. So we have wall going all the way across to here, and then that pillar is another section of wall, but we've added this little bit of fanciness. We have some edges to it, a little bit of a gradient, kind of like it's inset a little bit, and then our two different trim colors, which is solid colors for now, but you can imagine we would do a similar thing to here, maybe a leading edge, and then some horizontal designs in here. So I won't go over all of this in here. I can do an example of what it is later if you're interested. But basically I took my colors, so you can see here. I imported those, and then each of these is a color to mask. And so I'm just selecting each of these colors. As you can see here, it changes. Each of these colors, I've then created a mask of that color, and then using various tools. Here I'm using the bricks and saying I just want bricks in this area only, in this area only, in this area only, and then blending those together. And I did some extra work over here to generate our trim here for the pillar piece. So this has two pieces, and then subtracting them, and then doing an overlay of color, and then bringing that in and overlaying it over top of our piece already, and then blending everything together. And once it's all blended together, adding in the two different solid colors for now for our trims, and then blending all of that together to our final output. And then of course generate a normal map, and we could go in here and do our metal and our roughness. For right now I'm not interested in that. We just took the diffuse and the normal texture out of this. So this is how we took our atlas, and I'm generating a texture from the atlas. So what we would end up with is a final 1024 by 1024, which would in theory and in practice paint all of our walls, all of our trims, all of our pillars, and all of our floors. So you can start to see the real power behind this. So let's jump over to Max now, and we're going to look at, now that we have this texture set up, how can we apply this to a practical example. Alright, so here we are inside of Max, and we have our original kit here, and let's take a look at the UVs really quickly. So I'll bring those up and I'll slide them over so you can see them. So for our UVs here, they're set up just like our atlas texture. So we have our main wall piece covering this half, our next wall here, and then our pillar, and then our two end pieces. And with all of this set up properly, I'm just going to collapse that. Let's bring up our material, and here I have set up our material already. So you can see I've loaded in the atlas example that we took from Substance Designer and the normal bump map. So if I just select all these pieces and drag and drop, say yes to the whole selection, you can see everything snaps together. And it's really nice. That's what the whole idea is that we're snapping together both physical pieces, and the textures are snapping into place as well. Now with this all set, you'll see that we can create a large variety of pieces just from a single subset. So as a quick example, let's go ahead and save this, save early, save often. Let's go ahead and we'll create some of the base pieces that we would need for a wall kit. So for example, we have our straight wall, but we would need some corners. So I'm going to drag out a copy, say OK, and I'm going to make another copy about 90 degrees. There we go. And we'll move this guy over, and I'm going to snap him to the corners there, and this will be an inside corner piece. So let's go ahead and snap that into place. There we go. Very nice and easy. So once we combine those, that would be one type of corner. Let's go ahead and drag this out again. And now by taking this guy, and I'm going to rotate him 180 degrees, like so, and move him this way. Now snapping on this corner, we have the other type of corner that we need. Let's go ahead and put those two together. Very good. And one thing we can do is, because this is a corner where we do have a texture seam technically, and even though these textures line up perfectly and they are tiled perfectly, you do get some things that look a little weird sometimes. So this is a good opportunity for one of our pillar pieces. We could take a pillar piece and we could put this in the corner. So if I snap this to, say, the corner here, and what I'm going to do is snap its pivot to the center, and then I can move it back down right about there. Now obviously he's supposed to go different from this, so we're going to move him in, and we're going to use some clever symmetry. So if I, no, wrong piece, I want to move you into the corner like so. Now you could leave him there, that's pretty good like it is, but we could also do some clever symmetry. So if I do symmetry modifier, thank you, show me that, and what I want to do is actually move the symmetry mirror, and I will snap that to there, and now turn off my snapping and rotate. I can get a nice 45-degree angle going on there, and then just delete the interior faces that you're not going to see. So using that same piece, I haven't changed the textures on it or anything, it's now very versatile to be a nice corner piece, and we could put it over here as well and do another nice mirror and get a round corner on that. And our trims here are not without their uses. So we take our wall piece here, let's move it over, and we're going to create a couple of different wall variants using this. One thing you can do is take your pillar piece, and we'll just put him directly in the middle of a wall. So we'll just snap him there. And now if you combine all that as one piece, one prefab piece, then you have a wall with a pillar built in. And then we can take our different trims here, and I would imagine one would be like a top edge trim and one would be a floor trim. So what I'm going to do here is rotate him 90 degrees. Boom, like so. And we will just put him on there and move him along. And what I can do is even snap him to the corners. Snap him right. Nope, I want to move you. Thank you. So this could be a nice little piece if you want to elevate it and then delete the bottom. Or if you want to bring the bottom up, we do the same thing here. Just grab him again. He's being finicky. There he is. And you get a little bit of texture slop here, but for the sake of modularity, wouldn't be that big of a deal. Now what we could also do is take these two guys. You can see how versatile this kit is. And what I'm going to do now is combine these. So I'm going to attach those together, and now it's one whole piece, and because they share the same texture resource, there's no retexture, reskinning needed. I'm going to do a symmetry, and with this symmetry, I can take this guy and make a corner out of him. If I do 45 on that, there you go. And look, I've done some procedural modeling even without having to do much work. So let's take this guy and we'll move him out. And we should, in theory, be able to do the same thing, but in reverse. So I'm going to rotate this back and then do 45 this way, which is 90 total. There you go. So now we've got, look at how many different pieces we've got just from our initial set without doing any real extra work, and they all snap together. They're all modular, they're all built to be modular, and so we can start creating all kinds of really interesting effects. Now, you'll notice here, I would need to have a continuing design there, and we could do that with some clever modeling. Wouldn't really take a whole lot of work. And then we do the same thing with our other trim piece along the ceiling there, and you start to get a really nice looking kit in no time flat. And you can see these textures do have the normal map applied. So if I zoom in a little bit here, you'll see some nice normal map details going on there, and we're getting some really nice work going on very quickly, and that's the whole goal. So Next week we're going to look at some of the floor pieces and show you one of my quick tricks is to create 5 or 6 different floors out of just very little space on our texture atlas. And in the future we're going to go into more about how we can create stairs, doorways, all that kind of stuff. Now these are all modeled to a 1 meter by 1 meter, so that way you can easily translate that into your engine of choice if you're doing Unreal, Unity, whatever. So these are very modular, very procedural friendly, and that's the way we like to keep it. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have any questions, if you have any improvements to the process, I'm always up for learning something new, as you know. So let me know if you guys have any tips and tricks that I should know, and I will definitely combine them into this, and we will have something really awesome going really soon. So as always, guys, I really hope you've enjoyed. Keep practicing, get better, and I'll see you next time as the pilgrimage continues.